Are you curious about selling website templates as a source of income, but have no idea how it all works? Trust me, you're ready to get started, no coding needed or years of experience required. I know because I started with no design degree or coding experience. I started selling a single Squarespace template, and it has opened doors I never imagined possible. I'm Rach, a self-taught designer and developer and the founder of Squarestylist. I've mentored hundreds of today's Squarespace and Shopify experts through my programs Standout Squarespace and Standout Shopify. My mission is to help you master technical skills, create sought-after websites, and build profitable design businesses. Today, I want to share my journey starting with a single Squarespace template and expanding into Shopify. More importantly, I want to show you how you can do this too, because the truth is, there's something special about you and your vision that the world needs to see. Before I walk you through the how-tos, let me share why creating and selling templates might be perfect for you. First, templates can serve as your creative playground. When I was working with corporate clients, I felt creatively confined because I had to work within existing brand identities. But templates became my creative playground, a space where I could explore and refine my visual style without constraints. Which brings me to the second reason. Templates are powerful portfolio pieces. Those template demos that I created, they became my most powerful portfolio pieces. Instead of showing potential clients corporate work that did not reflect my true style, and without offering working on a project for free, I was able to showcase designs that perfectly represented my desired aesthetic and my expertise. And thankfully, clients started coming to me specifically because of the style and expertise that I demonstrated in my templates. To better demonstrate this is the type of work that I created before I sold templates. This is a company based in the Philippines where I am based as well. But after I sold templates, I was able to attract design-forward brands who resonated with my minimal, sophisticated aesthetic. This one in particular is based in Los Angeles, and I must say that it was selling digital products that allowed me to reach a global audience. Lastly, templates can help build your confidence to charge premium rates. In my case, back in 2019, I was charging $800 for every brand and web design project. But after launching my first template shop and building that passive income stream, which of course did not happen overnight, I had to build my audience and it took a lot of time and effort. But after building that sustainable source of income, I had the confidence to increase my custom design package from $800 to $5,000. And later on, I was able to increase my minimum package for website design to $12,000. With these reasons, if you're now strongly considering selling website templates, your next question is how? Don't worry, I've broken down the steps into the following: ideation, build, sale, and support. And I'll share important pointers to help you take each step with ease and confidence. In the ideation step, there are two things we need to decide on: the website platform and your specialty. First, which website platform will you build your template on? It is best based on the website builder which you're most familiar with. But if you're starting out and still exploring, I highly recommend starting with Squarespace. I've tried almost all platforms and Squarespace is the most intuitive, not just for me as the designer, but ultimately easy for end users. That means they won't need to contact you so often for support. Squarespace also caters for more business industries, so there's a huge market of potential buyers. Also, Squarespace has a straightforward pricing model. Other platforms would change the applicable pricing tier depending on the bandwidth and the amount of website users or pages. This also means that while Squarespace is simple, it's ready for scale. So even if your template customer gains a lot of traffic and would need to add more pages and assets, they won't be forced to a higher pricing plan, which is the case for other platforms like Webflow, Framer, Wix, or Showit. This generous bandwidth and storage limits and straightforward pricing are also the reasons why I love Shopify. Shopify is the gold standard for e-commerce. I have to mention though that Shopify requires more technical knowledge and has a steeper learning curve. To sell Shopify templates, I would recommend at least a basic knowledge of CSS to come up with more design-forward features than what are already available in the market. But you don't have to build from scratch. I'll share my simplified development process in the build step. Since Shopify is focused on e-commerce, your templates buyers are limited to those with online stores. But an advantage to offering Shopify templates is you can price each template higher because e-commerce websites are revenue-generating assets, so brands are willing to invest in quality Shopify templates. When choosing a platform, you can keep it simple. In my case, I started offering Squarespace templates first and then later on expanded to Shopify. After we decide on the platform, we decide on our template specialty. It's easy to be intimidated and think that the website template space is already saturated. But as I mentioned earlier, there's room for you. I've also hesitated when I started out years ago because there are already big players in this industry, but I'm so happy I pushed through. What I realized is that to succeed in this space, you really have to focus on what sets you apart. So to determine your specialty, I would love for you to ask these questions. First, what are you exceptionally good at? You can look at your current skills or previous experience, but if you cannot identify that just yet, then you can ask yourself the following. What are you excited to learn? Or what do you want to be known for? Let me share some inspiring examples from our community. Melissa, one of our students in our Standout Squarespace program, is a therapist, so she created Squarespace templates specifically for therapists. Her insider knowledge allows her to include features that generic templates might miss. On the other hand, Kia of Golden Launch Collective leads with her editorial and edgy visual style, creating templates that perfectly match her aesthetic vision. Especially if you have the vision to build a collection of templates like Kia, it's best if all those templates are aligned to and reinforce your brand's specialty. And if you're looking for more inspirations on what's possible on Squarespace and Shopify and the types of brands, clients, and industries we serve to help you define your specialty, I highly recommend checking out our showcase page via squarestylist.com/showcase, featuring a growing collection of websites done by our students from our Standout Squarespace and Standout Shopify programs under my mentorship. After deciding on our platform and specialty, we're ready for the build step. And in the step, I'd like to share key pointers on what features you can highlight on your template and how to present and develop them. For your template features, my advice is to keep them specific, simple, and scalable. Let's break down how to achieve this. First, in your area of specialty, what are the website features and functionalities that are most valuable? And of course, this is something that you can retrieve from previous client stories, testimonials, or by listening to what your target audience in your area of specialty is looking for, probably in forums like Facebook groups. For example, if your area of specialty is building websites for coaches, then you might find that these coaches are always looking for unique ways to showcase testimonials and client stories. You might end up with a massive list of desired features, but it's best to choose 3 to 6 features to focus on per template, because that's what you'll highlight on your sales page as well as in your marketing efforts. In choosing these features, consider those that can be repeated and reused across the website. For example, in this website template, I intentionally added this key feature galleries, which is a way for shops like this to showcase their products in action. And I use that as well in highlighting their press features. And you'll find that in the About page, that same feature is used to demonstrate the brand's values. This doesn't just make the development process easier for us later on, but it will also make the template more recognizable and memorable. In deciding which features to highlight, I recommend choosing features that can be easily edited and will be adaptable for varied content types and lengths. Once we have shortlisted our template's key features, we're now ready to move forward with presenting the template through a concept brand. And personally, I find it easier to create and design the template once I have the structure and a placeholder content or copy at hand. I actually developed an AI-powered tool called CopySpark to help you in this step. So what you can do is simply think of a fictional brand within your area of specialty. Building on our example earlier, for instance, your area of specialty is in wellness coaching, and you'd like to serve template buyers, website owners in this space, then we can just indicate general details here and come up with a fictional name like Thrive Wellness, and just put yourself in the position of your target audience and look into who are they serving, and then what are the main goals of the website. So for this example, it could be that the website's goal is to book wellness sessions with prospective customers and to educate on the importance of health, specifically hormonal and gut health. And then we can indicate here the key features that we've identified earlier. For example, testimonial slider, client stories blog, and services menu, which is very important in this line of work. And for the brand voice, we can keep it friendly. And if you have any additional details or would like to follow a certain tone, then you can add examples here. This is optional, so we can simply generate the website content, and it will instantly come up with recommended pages based on the information that you've provided. More so, if you click the page, it will generate recommended sections based on my proven content framework, and this will help guide you on what sections would go into your template. Personally, I find it easier to create the layouts once I have the content, and this placeholder content is really helpful. And if you think there are sections that weren't provided by the tool initially, you can customize this. And for example, if you'd like to add specific sections, you can add the prompt here and regenerate, and it will follow the prompt. You also don't have to offer all these pages in your template. You can keep it simple. But if there are other pages which you think weren't recommended initially, you can add a custom page right here and include some page instructions. For example, what sections are top of mind in terms of the content of that custom page. Then you can add that here, and it will also generate recommended sections and placeholder content for that page. In presenting our template, I also would like to touch on imagery and fonts and the licensing for those assets. What we have to remember is that when we sell templates, there's this base template that we will distribute to template buyers. For this base template, we must use only royalty-free assets. I recommend using image stock libraries like Unsplash or Pexels. If you're a photographer, you can also use your own photos. There are also AI tools like Visual Electric, Midjourney, and Lumi that can help create your imagery for your template visuals, though I personally haven't used these yet as I'm still verifying ethical usage and source policies. For fonts in the base template, I always stick to the built-in font. Those are available in the font pickers of our website builder of choice, but I provide guides or link to guides on how they can install their own custom font. This gives users more control over their final design than having to hard code the custom fonts to the templates. And while our base template uses royalty-free assets and seems a bit limiting in terms of design, we can get more creative with our template showcases. Template showcases are where we can present our template and how the template adapts to different visual identities and brands. To give you more context, this is how we present our templates on the sales page. We have the base template. In this case, this template only uses images from Unsplash and Pexels. I also just use built-in fonts, but I also demonstrate how this can adapt to different color ways and fonts or even different branding. So this one is a custom logo. Just remember to clearly state on the sales page that the showcase font and images are not included in the template purchase. Most digital products are presented this way, so most purchasers are also familiar that placeholder content are not typically included in their purchases. Now, in terms of developing the template, I have some key insights from having sold more than 1,000 templates so far. I just learned that it's best to really keep it simple. You don't have to pack your template with out-of-this-world features that become overwhelming. So especially when working on website builders like Squarespace, it's best to maximize built-in features because Squarespace actually has robust and design-forward blocks for you to work with. Most of the time, it's just a matter of creatively using those existing features, blocks, and style options. This brings me to my second point, which is that adding code is optional. And this might come as a surprise because my brand Square Stylist has always been associated to teaching code, but I should mention that you can definitely sell templates that have no code, but it is worth mentioning too that adding coded features, especially if those coded features are highly sought after, that's a way for you to command higher template price. And that's a way for you to differentiate your template shop from existing ones. There are also use cases wherein adding code will make it a lot easier for your coded features to accommodate different types of content and lengths. For example, this type of testimonial feature can actually be created just by using a shape block plus images and text. But when I was deciding how to develop this feature, I wanted it to be easily updated. So when I have a new testimonial, I can easily add it and easily rearrange if needed. So instead of adding a lot of blocks using the Fluid Engine feature of Squarespace, I wanted a more streamlined approach. So I just used this built-in list section of Squarespace, added a bit of code to make it look like this, and now it's really sustainable for me to remove certain testimonials or add new ones and reorder them. So when we are approaching how to develop certain features, we always have to ask ourselves what will make it easy for clients to update and add their own content. And perhaps the most important pointer is to ensure that all features, styles, and content are carried over once the site is duplicated. Because in Squarespace, we are able to sell templates by duplicating the base template and transferring the ownership of that duplicated site to the template customer. And if you ever decide to add coded features to your template, most of the tutorials that you'll find are using methods wherein code customizations are not carried over when the site is duplicated. So there's a certain method that we need to follow to make sure that codes are carried over to duplicated sites. For Shopify, on the other hand, you don't have to build a theme from scratch. There's actually this base theme or framework that comes with every Shopify site. We call this theme Dawn, and it is continuously battle tested for performance, accessibility, and speed. I recommend using at least CSS to style or modify the base framework, and you'll be surprised of how a simple CSS code snippet can transform our base theme. For instance, this is how the Dawn Shopify theme looks like. It's like a blank canvas, but with CSS we can change the overall vibe, add engaging animations, and completely transform the base theme. If you'd like to take it a step further, you may learn Liquid and be able to add custom sections to Dawn theme, just like what I did to create my Essentia theme. And this Selena Shopify theme, again, I'd like to emphasize this was just based on the Dawn theme, but with some custom modifications via CSS and Liquid. And using this same approach, my students from the Standout Shopify program are also building their own themes. This one is from the talented Katie of Perler.work. It's a certified Standout Shopify theme, and she's selling it at $1,900. After developing our template, we're now ready to sell it. And the first step is to develop our sales page. And my main advice is for the template to showcase the key features that we've identified, and it's best to showcase the adaptability of our template to different branding and content. In terms of delivery, most Squarespace templates are actually delivered 24 to 72 hours after purchase. That's because after duplicating a copy of our template, we invite the template customer as our administrator, and this is how they get access to this copy of our template. This definitely works if you're starting out, and especially if you make it clear on the sales page. But in my case, I had to develop a way to automate it because I noticed that it causes customer friction and buyer's remorse, even though it was clearly stated on the sales page. So I was able to come up with a process using Airtable that allows me to automate the delivery of the template even when I'm on a vacation or when I'm asleep. For Shopify, we can simply deliver the template in a zip file. And whether you are delivering templates manually or automatic, I recommend setting up post-purchase reminders. So these are a series of emails which you can send to the template customer, reminding them of how to access support and how to access template instructions or guidance. And in selling templates, we have to be reminded that we're not just limited to one way of selling templates. Of course, it's more passive to sell it as a DIY template, but we have to also be aware that not all customers have the time to go through all the tutorials and build the website themselves. Some actually are needing more hand-holding, and this is when offering other ways to avail templates would be helpful. For instance, you may offer template installation. This means you'll just install the exact demo on their current site as is. But if there are customers who would need help in applying their branding and colors to their website, then what we can offer is template restyle. We also call it template reskin or remix, and you can charge at least $1,500 for this service. Lastly, you can use your template as a starting point for offers like 1 week website or design intensives. One of my students, Julie of Studio Folha, offers a 1 week website experience, and this fast track website design service is only made possible by starting with a template and having a framework to start with. For this offer, she asks clients to pick a template from her beautiful collection, and that's what they use as a starting point. After the sale, we also have to make sure that we provide superb support. And this is where I had a lot of learnings because this turned out to be one of the most challenging part of running a template shop. Hence, I'd like to share these pointers. First, I highly recommend limiting the scope and duration of support. On my sales page and my template terms and policies, I indicate that the duration of support is only up to 90 days after purchase. And I also define what kind of support we provide and that we don't cover support for advanced customizations. I also remind template customers of these support boundaries via the post-purchase email sequence. Another pointer is that especially when you are envisioning to create a collection of templates, it's best to create general tutorials that are applicable to all templates. And then, as needed, you can create template-specific tutorials, but you can limit it to just 1 to 2 video walkthroughs. So I have this template wizard with comprehensive step-by-step tutorials that apply to all Squarespace templates. This includes steps such as accessing the template, backing up the site before making any customization, and changing the colors, updating the font, and some basic guides. After I've sold more than 1,000 templates, I looked into my data and noticed that my template customers aren't actually going through all the tutorials that I provided. So even though I have these videos provided for them, and they just end up emailing me with their questions, and I would just point them to a certain video. And so for this general template guide, aside from adding a search function, which can lead them to any guide depending on the topic they're looking for, I also intentionally added this Ask feature, which is a smart AI-powered feature. So if the customer has a question, it can conveniently ask the AI assistant 24/7. For example, how to optimize images before upload. It will summarize the answers based on the documents and guides that I provided in the wizard, and it will lead the customer to that specific guide on where I discussed all about resizing images and videos prior to upload. Or if they ask about how to launch the website, then we have a corresponding document or guide for that, and the AI assistant will point the customer to that specific guide, specifically this Launch Essentials one. So if I click that, it will include even how to make their site public. So those who aren't able to go through all of the tutorials, they can simply ask the wizard to point them to a specific topic. I sincerely hope that this video inspires you to create and sell website templates, and my breaking down the steps makes you realize that this is doable for you too. And if you would like to accelerate the process of launching your own template shop, specifically Squarespace template shop, with my expert guidance and done for you systems, I highly recommend checking out my class, Selling Squarespace Templates. This is a complete class to help you launch your template shop fast. You'll get to receive a real-world template, so you would know exactly how a Squarespace template is created, delivered, and supported. You will also get to have access to the AI-powered template wizard, which you can use for your own Squarespace templates. And you'll learn how to automatically deliver templates. The lessons are concise and packed with value, so you can complete everything in a weekend. And you get to have access to more amazing resources, such as a done-for-you sales page, which you can install in one click. And it includes all the essential sections recommended for you to sell your template. You'll also get access to our shop terms and policies reference, which can be your starting point in creating your own, such that you can consider licensing, intellectual property, and support terms before you sell your templates. On the other hand, if you are interested in selling Shopify templates instead, then please check out my program Standout Shopify. Lastly, I'd love to hear your key takeaways from this presentation. Please follow and tag me on Instagram at SquareStylist.